So today's video is actually going to go through a breakdown of the most recent, championship, and that happened this past weekend in Prague. On screen now is like the top 6 meta percentages. By far and away, the most popular deck in the room was Dragapult. There's many different variations of Dragapult. Some were playing the Dragonpult Blaziken, straight Dragapult Death Star was a thing. So many different variations, but in the end, a Dragonpult the Dunsparce ended up winning the event. In second place was actually this, 12% meta share deck, and that was Crustle. Crustle was so big here. It does have a lot of good matchups, and it played really well. And then in third place, tied for third and fourth with Team Rocket's Mewtwo deck, and with a 7 to 8% meta share. In fourth was Festival Lead, the 6% meta share. 21st was the best placing. A Teal Mask Ogerpon deck was 6%. This also includes juniors and seniors, so the actual Masters is different. I think Masters is around 30% Dragapult. And Cynthia's Garchomp with another third to fourth finish, and that finish happened in Masters. So we're going to look over, the top 16 deck list, but we're going to start with some metagame analysis. So the win percentage, actually, best deck in the room is Hop's Treverent, but that's kind of fake with 69% win state. It was just one guy playing the deck. Dragonpult the Dunsparce with 15 people playing the deck had a 60% win rate. And if you actually look, in the meta, it did really well into other Dragapult decks and did really well into the Crustle, which was really popular. And then, third in the win percentage was actually Crustle. There's 43 players playing Crustle this weekend, and they basically won almost every game into like the Dragapults. They lost to the Lucarios and Harayamas, and they had pretty good win percentage across the board. Nothing too glaring or too like, oh wow, that's a huge number. But the Dragonpult, the Dunsparce, is obviously one weakness it has to the deck because of the Dunsparce being such a good attacker. And here is your top 14 decks in top cut. In first was Mateusz with the Dragonpult, the Dunsparce. So this is his deck list. You'll notice one main thing is it's really heavy draw and really heavy supporter and trainer driven. There is no support Pokemon in his deck. There's none of the staples. There is no Fez. There is no Latias. There is no Blood Moon. It's just Monkey, Dragapult, and the Dunsparce with one Badoo as his like early game kind of staple. And there's only one copy Badoo, so it's not even guaranteed to have it every game. But this is like the ended up winning. In second place was Elmar with the Crustle. The Crustle's a pretty cool deck. The cool thing I liked about him is he had the options of setting up either the one Cornerstone or the Crustle. And then the Mega King is just there for Draw Engine. He has a lot of healing, Pokemon Center Lady, Jumbo Ice Cream, Buddy Buddy, Super Potion, and the Hero's Cape, along with the Petrol Team Factory for some early game draw. The Force of Vitality is just to spawn in the Crustle, like later in the game, so you just always have a Crustle ready to go. In third place was a Garchomp, and tied with it was the Starmie Dusknoir deck. The Garchomp deck is actually pretty standard. Here's the list on screen now. You can also find all these decks and copy and play with them on Limitless. Limitless is a great way of just, being able to see what the top competitors are playing. And this Garchomp came in 3rd/4th. Same with this Starmie Dusknoir deck. This deck's actually really cool. I've actually been playing with it as of today, like on my lunch break or, at work. While I can't use my computer, this deck is fun and easy, and you actually could play a lot of games with it pretty quickly, as, Starmie and Dusknoir can kind of board wipe a lot. I think I went on like a 5-game win streak just on my lunch break alone, just playing this deck. So that's actually really cool. That's piloted by Nettie and Hohei. In 5th was Tord, the GOAT of the Pokemon TCG. He was just playing a straight Dragapult deck. He had the Blood Moon, he had the Fez, he had the Chimpow for the Stadium Bump, so he get rid of his Meowths. And he played then first stamp, while the Dragapult Dunsparce plays the Hero Cape, so that is some differences there, as well as all the support Pokemon. His deck is really, really consistent and really, really strong. He plays a Theory Cannon just to keep spawning these Dragapult. There is no Rosa's Encouragement in this list. I've seen that running around, but I guess Tord decided not to play it. After Tord was May. Sorry if I'm butchering your name. He played a Raging Bolt. It's more of like the slop-ish box version of Raging Bolt. He doesn't have the Lily, so it's not full slop box, but he does have Simeon for a late game attacker. And he also has the Petron for some mobility, but I don't know what he's using the Petron for. Oh, just to get out of it with Fez. I didn't see the Fez down here, but that makes sense. He also plays a 0/6 for some hand disruption. The Glass Trumpet feels really strong with Raging Bolt, as you could actually even empower the Meowth to get it out of play if you can't get the the Stadium bump with the Qian Pao. This deck's really fun, especially into like big basic Pokemon. Like any Mega Pokemon, Raging Bolt's really strong into. In 7th was the Jack Moore Crustle. His list is on screen. His is more focused on, I guess, control. He doesn't play the Cornerstone. He doesn't play as a lot of the healing. He doesn't play the rock fighting energy as either. There's a lot of differences between his list and Elmore's list. Obviously, Elmore's list came second, but this is also really solid, but does a different thing. Both Crystal decks are good, but Crystal is pretty straightforward and is basically matchup roulette at the end of the day. And unfortunately for Jack, he just didn't get his matchups. After Crystal is Vincenzo with his Dragapult Blaziken. Dragapult Blaziken, one of my favorite decks. I made a lot of videos about how I think this deck was best after rotation. Unfortunately, he finished 8th place overall with a 10-1-4 record. He only lost once, but he did tie a lot with this deck. Dragapult Blaziken is really cool, as you can accelerate the energy with the Blaziken to the Dragapult. It's a pretty standard Dragapult Blaziken list. He does play 2 Crispin. A lot of decks only play 1, but he drops a Candy for it, and he only plays Viscount and Jammy Tower, Team Rocket's Watchtower. Team Rocket's Watchtower might be really good going forward. Could stop the Meowth, can stop the Dunsparce draw, and the Noctowls obviously, and made Bloodmoon Ursaluna not as effective attacker. And in 9th place was Allad. Allad, I'm hopefully pronouncing this right, of the straight. Oh, with his deck list. There it is, with a straight, more of a conventional straight Dragapult list with the maybe unconventional straight Dragapult list. 1 Meowth, he plays a Moltres, he plays a Maractus, he has a Judge, he has Unfair. It's a pretty cool build, especially the Moltres, for if you're dealing with any like grass decks. The Moltres basically is just a 1 prize, like instant Teal Mask Ogerpon attacker. He does play the support Pokemon, Latios and Fez, and overall it's a pretty cool list. I definitely have to give this one a try. I like the Moltres, I like the Maractus, just to corner stuff, and gives you the ability to just, buy your turn. The 2 Badoo I really like. 2 Monkey kind of feels eh. Same with the Shaman. The Shaman's only really there for the Arvaliva and Starmie. I mean, there's a Starmie top cut, but I don't know how often the Shaman actually came in play for Uladbur. Oh. In 10th was a Crustle. This list will probably look very similar. Oh, he has a Cook in there too for even more healing, and a Sacred Charm. Now this is a really, really cooked, Crustle build. Even with the Luminous City in there. Oh, Luminous City right up, just to get the Crustle out turn 1 and ends your turn if you play it. He also has, a Community Center for more healing. He only plays 2 Rock Fighting, 4 of the Growing Grass. It's pretty similar build. 3 Spike Energy. I know some decks run 4. It's pretty cool, interesting Crustle build. We'll move on. The grass. Mark. I don't know how to pronounce this person's name, but he got 11th with Meganium and Ogerpon. It's a pretty standard Meganium Ogerpon list. He has the Arvaliva in there. He does have a 1/1 Noctowl line just to help consistently with the draw. He does play the Badoo, some lists don't. The consistency of the deck really revolves around the Bud Catcher and the Forest of Vitality. These 2 cards really make the deck strong. The Briar is there for some late game, shenanigans to help you close out the game. But overall, this is pretty standard Urgrapama game. Nothing on the screen at least jumps out to me. And 12th place was actually a Grimmsnarl Frostlass. It did make the cut. I expected this deck to kind of be near the top tables. If you're really good at Grimmsnarl and Frostlass, this deck is just still good. It does feel weaker, obviously, without the Thtmand Evolution. It's actually a pretty standard Grimmsnarl deck list. He does play the Yveltal and the Shaman. He does have the Tatsugiri. The Tatsugiri is awesome. I love the Tatsu. Everything else is pretty straight standard. Unfair Stamp, he didn't go to the Secret Box. The 4 Monkey, 3/2 line, the 2 Frostlass. No Mega Frostlass in this deck, so he finished 12th with it. It must have done really well for him this weekend. In 13th place, there was a Dragapult Dusknoir. This deck list is pretty cool. It's cool to see like Dusknoir still be available for Dragapult. It does get a lot better in the next set with like special red card, because then you get, you know, Dusknoir them, red card them, and still have like a Gust with boss, or you don't have to play it. You can play Prime Catcher and Dragapult. This one also doesn't play a Rose's Encouragement. Most of these Dragapult lists don't, but it's pretty, you know, standard Dragapult Dusknoir. He only plays 2 Night Stretchers, so one of them is probably to get the Dusknoir again. And then you have another one just for a Dragapult and energy. I might want to see 3 Night Stretcher in here, and maybe going forward, Team Rocket's Watchtower instead of the Area Zero. But the Area Zero is also there to kind of bump your Meowth out of play if you have to use double Meowth early. He does play a Judge. Some lists add the Judge, some don't. Some just rely on the Unfair Stamp. So, in 14th place was Alakazam to Dunsparce. It's a pretty straight standard Alakazam to Dunsparce besides the Genesect. The Genesect is a really cool tech just to stop the Unfair Stamps happening. He does only play 2 Handheld Fan and 1 Lucky Helmet. That's a really cool innovation. Some players are just only playing the 4 Lucky. The Handheld Fan just helps disrupt early game, especially if they're trying to KO either your Dunsparce or Alakazams or Shamans from play. The 1 Fez is also sometimes there, sometimes not. It all depends on the person's deck building. And then the 15th, just outside top cut, was this Zoroark list. We'll only go through like a couple different archetypes before the video will come to an end. This is from Piper. She, got 15th with the Zoroark deck. She was just not able to make top cut. Her deck list is pretty cool. She does not play the Vesperam. She does play a 1/1 bunny line of Lopunny and Baneri. She plays the Yveltal, the Fez, 1 Meowth, 3 PB up, and a Scoopum Cyclone, just to either A, get the Meowth out of play, or reset their Zoroark either after attacking or just to get it out of play. The 1 Black Belt is there, just for more damage numbers. They do play 2 Monkey. The 2 Monkey is really, really strong for them, just to help fix the Zoroark, damage. 1 Bunny Mochi 2, just for the poison Zoroark. Zoroark does feel really strong if you can just kind of avoid the grass decks. The 1/1 Bunny line would definitely help though with the grass decks, and especially Crustal as well. And Cornerstone, if that's people still playing Cornerstone. The top Festival Lead deck was actually in 17th place by Matthew. Festival Lead is it was ranked in the top, one of the top decks for me before the tournament, and it's nice to see that it actually did really well. It was actually pretty meta, dependent too. It did really well. So here's his deck list. Nothing too crazy. He does play the 1/1 Raspaline and 1/1 Petalil and Lilligant. This might help him with some damage numbers, and also it's just cool to add more options to help you boost more damage with your, Diplin. And he does play 2/1 Goldeen Seeking line. In 19th place was Corel with Ludicolo. Mega, not Ludicolo, Lucario Hariyama line. These are the 2 that I thought would be really strong, and he does have a 10 and 2 split. 10 regular energy, 2 Rocky. He does play 2 Wallies. The deck, I just did a video on this, is a deck profile. My build looks a lot different, but similar. I played the Unfair Stamp, he plays the Maximum Belt. His consistency is still the same, 4/4/4. I actually play 4 Pokepad. He does play 2 Switch. And yeah, his deck looks pretty good. His Thtmand is really good in this deck. Everything else looks pretty standard, just a different variation of Lucario. And one of the cool decks that actually almost made top cut was actually the Dunsparce Slow Pony deck. This deck has kind of been running around for a while now. I was going to make a video on it, but here's it on screen just for its little preview. Its whole concept is basically you just circle through the deck running with the Dunsparce, and then you're able to attack, resetting the attack of a low pony often. And then you play the Mega Frostlass as like a late game closer if you face other people with a hand draw. This deck plays 4 Wallies, which I haven't really seen that often. But if you play 4 Wallies, you're basically playing a tank low pony deck, and it's very hard and very annoying to deal with. So you put Air Balloon on there, you retreat, you go into the Dunsparce, you come back. This thing has 430 HP, and yeah, you're basically a tank wall. There's not Tool Scrap or Jamitar running around, so you're pretty good. And then the Battle Cage is there just to make sure the Dunsparce and the Duns are safe as well. It's actually more of like a tank build, but I really like it. And then another cool deck that I found that made day 2 and actually placed really well. There's some okie dokies on here, but this one by Simon is actually Hops Treverent. It made 67th place. He's the only person that made day 2 with this deck, and he actually did really well with it. I can show you on Limitless, but yeah, this is his Hops Treverent build. I just thought it was a cool build. I would rather like to show. I know it's not a top finish, but I think it does deserve some cool stuff. And some spotlight. It is really cool, really well crafted deck. I did going rogue on this deck, and it's nice to see that rogue decks can still make like top 100 at these like 2,000 to 4,000 regional player tournaments. I didn't actually know the numbers for Prague, but I think it was pretty close to 2,000 players if you combine all the divisions. So that's it for the recap of Prague. Again, congratulations to Mateusz winning it all with his Dragonbolt the Dunsparce. I had no idea this deck was even, I knew it was a thing. I just didn't know that it could have gone this far. The Hero's Cape was really, really cool for him, and it was just cool to watch somewhat unknown deck like go on the run and win the tournament. The Aerial's Mischief in this deck was actually awesome as well to see. Well, that's it for today's video. This is the recap of the Prague Regional Championships. If you have any suggestions or stuff you want to see on the channel, please let me know down below. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.